With the Major League Baseball trade deadline just a couple of weeks away, the Phillies are very likely to be buyers once again this season. They'll likely look to move some of their prospects to acquire proven Major League players who can help them potentially make a deep postseason run as they try to continue this track towards a World Series title with this aging core. What that means, though, is that they're likely going to have to depart with some of their younger prospects and some of their more talented prospects in order to get these trades pushed through. But with that being said, I think there are three Phillies prospects that the Phillies should not trade at this trade deadline. Let's talk about it next, right here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler Zula here. And as I said, as we're just a couple of weeks away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline, contenders will separate themselves from pretenders, buyers will separate themselves from sellers, and we'll have to determine which teams are going to look to move off some of their Major League assets to think about picking up assets for the future in terms of Major League prospects and minor league players for that matter. The Phillies, for the first time in quite some time, have a handful of prospects that are pretty desirable across Major League Baseball, whether it be in the pitching ranks or in the positional player ranks. But with that being said, I think the Phillies and Dave Dombrowski should be selectively aggressive. And what I mean by that is they absolutely should be buyers at the deadline, but there are a handful of players that I think should be kind of off limits in this trade deadline upcoming in the end of July. So here are three players that I believe that the Phillies should not move at the trade deadline. The first one is Andrew Painter. No duh, of course. This is the one that everybody is considering. There's no reason for the Phillies to move Andrew Painter this year or any year for that matter, because it's inevitable that his Major League debut is coming, whether it's at the end of this month, whether it's the end of this year, or it's to begin 2026. There has not been a more anticipated Phillies starting pitching prospect since Cole Hamels in Andrew Painter, and rightfully so. And I understand you're going to look at the numbers and you're going to say 13 appearances, 4.18 ERA this season. Painter has been statistically underwhelming. However, the strikeouts are still there. 57 strikeouts in less than 52 innings pitched. The whip is a little bit high. He's given up 49 hits and 19 walks for a 1.316 whip. He was selected to the minor league futures team, but will not pitch in that game. There on the right, you can see his scouting grades. What jumps out to you is the fastball. It's his bread and butter pitch. His fastball has life to it. It's high 90s. It's got success. He's able to locate it with success because of that 65 out of 80 command. He really has a four-tool arsenal that he feels comfortable using. I would say his two best pitches, the fastball and the slider, but he's comfortable using the curveball. He's worked in the changeup over the last couple of years. And it's no secret as to why he is the most highly touted prospect the Phillies have had in quite some time. And it's why he is the number one overall prospect in their farm system once again. He can touch 100 when he needs to, and he does it pretty efficiently. He hasn't done it in a while, especially really since the Tommy John surgery, but he has sat about 96, 97 pretty consistently. He doesn't quite have the velocity that a Chase Burns or a Jacob Misiorowski, who you've seen come up for the Reds and the Brewers respectively over the last couple of weeks, but he does have really solid command with that fastball, and he got really good extension. 6'5", big body, big frame. He gets down on the mound and gets on top of you in a hurry when he releases the pitch, and it's why it feels like he cuts off so much distance from the mound and where the ball is released out of his hand to you in the batter's box. We know he generates a ton of swing and miss stuff. He strikes out nearly 10 for every 9 innings pitched this season across multiple minor league levels between Clearwater and then, of course, in AAA. There's no denying that this is a when and not an if for Andrew Painter. That when could be as soon as the end of the All-Star break, as we said, maybe closer to September. But this guy will be a major leaguer without question. And I think many, including myself, still believe not only is he a major leaguer, but he is a top end of the rotation type of guy. His stuff is legitimate and it will play at the major league level. This is a clear no duh. The Phillies aren't moving Andrew Painter at this trade deadline. The second player is a guy that I have been super high on for a while now. If you've heard me talk about prospects on this show over the last 2 years, you know how highly I think of Eduardo Ta. Ta is the everyday catcher in Clearwater this year at just 18 years old, and I genuinely believe he's just going to continue to get better and better as he gets stronger and grows a little bit more and becomes an everyday professional player as he works his way through the ranks. To me, there is absolutely no question that this kid can hit. So far, 261 at bats in Clearwater this season at 253, 327, 444 slash line. 10 home runs is the big thing, 28 extra base hits, and he has a propensity to drive runs in. 42 RBI in 67 games this season. There is no question in my mind this kid can flat out hit, and he's done it at every level that he's gone through so far, whether it be rookie ball last year, his stint in Clearwater at the end of the season, or his 67 games that he's appeared in so far in Clearwater this year. He's mashed at just about every level. He picked up a handful of home runs in limited single-A action last year, and he's on pace to almost get to 20 home runs in the Clearwater season. The average and on-base percentage are solid as he continues to grow into his game. And the one thing I love about Taillid is he has really good bat-to-ball skills. If you watch any type of highlights on social media, you'll see the ball explodes off of Taillid's bat. The pop is very legit. And he only has 57 strikeouts this year, so his strikeout rate is actually below 20%. He's at about 19.3%. He's in a pretty good spot, especially as a young hitter working his way back up through the minor leagues. He's a left-handed bat that I have no question about his growth as a hitter. He's going to be a very, very good player. Can he be an everyday catcher at the major league level? That I don't quite know just yet. I think that question still remains to be seen. I do wonder if he profiles more as an everyday DH at the big league level, but I still think he has a long way to go, and the Phillies have a long way to go before they have to make any kind of decision like that. And honestly, that's really just me more thinking out loud than anything else. The other reason that I hold Taillid so close has nothing to do with him, really. It's positional scarcity. The Phillies are thin at the catcher position, even all the way up to the big league level. So with this being the final year of JT Realmuto's contract and his diminishing return at the plate, I do think the Phillies are going to have to start thinking about life without JT soon, whether it's next year or in the close future. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Taillid is going to be ready next year or the following year. As again, MLB estimated that his time to the big leagues is about 2028. He's not going to be here for quite some time. He's only in single A right now, and he's only 18 years old. But I do think that Eduardo Ta has a very bright future as a professional hitter, and I'm interested to see how his progression comes along as a defensive catcher as his career goes on. I think this guy is going to be very special. I would not move Eduardo Ta at the deadline. The final guy on this list is somebody who I think people maybe have soured on a little bit because of his numbers this season in Reading, but I still believe that Aiden Miller is going to be a very, very good major league player. I think the bat-to-ball skills still exist. It is a very high strikeout rate this year, no doubt about it. 26.4% strikeout rate in Reading. It's something that he's going to need to cut down on, and I think he has done as of late, but it is still too high. Now, we talked to the Reading Fightin' Phils play-by-play voice, Jake Starr, a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about Miller's maturation at the AA level. It was a struggle for him to start. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. You do see the numbers there, 231, 343, 360 slash line. So the two things that jump out, his average is low and he's not hitting for a ton of power, just 6 home runs and 16 extra base hits so far this year. But he does have 19 RBIs, so that number as kind of a guy who's been in the leadoff spot or hitting second quite a bit this year is not awful. But I will say his on-base percentage over 110 points higher than his batting average. He is getting on base. He has the ability to steal a bag. He's stolen 28 bases this season so far in Reading, and he's stolen 51 since the start of 2024. Numerically speaking, it has been a down year for Aiden Miller, but I do think there is still a lot to like about Aiden Miller as a player. You saw his prospect tools, the hit tools are there, the power tools I do still believe exist. It's just taken him a little bit of extra time at AA to kind of get his footing, and that's something that you've noticed with Aiden Miller every time he makes a new stop. He is successful at the previous place at the lower level, gets called up, has some struggles, finds his footing, and then kind of rinse and repeat. That's the type of player that Aiden Miller has been. And remember, he is still only 21 years old and started the season, at least started the year at AA for the first time in his career. I think he's hit a little bit of a roadblock, but I don't believe that it's insurmountable. I do tend to believe that this is more of a down year than a norm year for Aiden Miller as he continues to progress. Now, those are the three players, if I were Dave Dombrowski in the Phillies front office, that I would not trade, the three prospects that I would not move. And the question is probably fair that you're asking, well, Tyler, no Justin Crawford? I think Justin Crawford is a major league player. I think Justin Crawford can hit at every single level. Every time Justin Crawford gets promoted, somebody says, well, his bat profile is not going to succeed at the major league level. It's not going to succeed at the next level. And all he does is continue to hit. He's a great athlete. He's a good defender. He can steal bags. He's a threat on the base paths. And all the guy does is consistently hit over 300. I think Justin Crawford is major league ready, I think right now, but many believe in the coming weeks or months or maybe by next year. I believe that Justin Crawford is going to be a major league player. But the thing with Justin Crawford compared to at least Ta and Aiden Miller, at least on the positional side, those guys are years away. They become kind of almost the mystery box. And the mystery box can be exciting to teams that have, total rebuilds. Justin Crawford, if the right trade package were to come along, and I'm not sitting here telling you I am excited or interested in moving Justin Crawford, but there are teams that could believe Justin Crawford could be a major league outfielder this season, and they may be willing to move off of a big time reliever or a veteran type of power bat if Justin Crawford were to be in the conversation. So I think he's in just that very, very small step below where it would take the world for me to move Justin Crawford, but I don't think at this stage he's in the absolute untouchable because of everything that I just laid out. I also think the easiest solution with Justin Crawford is to call him up and give him every day at bats as the Phillies center fielder or left fielder, but doesn't feel like they're going to want to do that. But those are my three kind of untouchable trade pieces in terms of prospects at this trade deadline. Who are yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Who would you not be willing to move at the trade deadline? I think most of us agree it's probably Andrew Painter. Do you have any others that you would consider, and who are they? Leave that comment down below in the chat. I'm excited to hear from you. We will be back live at 1 o'clock on Monday. No live show tomorrow with the 4th of July, the holiday. We're off. But we'll be back with a live show on Monday at 1 o'clock on the PHLY Phillies podcast as we get closer and closer to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And we'll see what the Phillies do and see how aggressive Dave Dombrowski is going to be in trying to add at the deadline.